Have you ever felt as though you're being watched even when you're all alone? Picture this, a quiet room, the hush of solitude wrapping you like a blanket. Yet, there's an itch, a prickling sensation that you're not truly alone. This is the tale of the unseen shadow, a chilling narrative that dances on the edge of your worst fears. Imagine our protagonist every day like the one before. But then, the mundane shifts. A flicker in the corner of their eye, a ripple in the reality they once knew. At first, it's dismissed as imagination, a trick of the light perhaps. But then it happens again and again, each time more pronounced. A chilling silhouette, a shadow with no source, always lurking in the periphery, never fully seen but always felt. It becomes a constant and uninvited guest in their life. But it was only when the shadow started whispering that the real terror began. Imagine sitting in your room alone and hearing a whisper that chills you to your bones. Our protagonist, let's call him John, first noticed the whispers on an ordinary night. They were faint, like a breeze rustling through the leaves, barely discernible. He dismissed them as products of his overactive imagination, perhaps caused by too many late-night horror flicks. But as the nights passed, these whispers grew louder, morphing from unintelligible murmurs into distinct, clear words. At first, they were harmless, even benign, fragments of conversations, soft lullabies, and playful banter. But soon they took on a more sinister tone. They began to taunt him, to threaten him, whispering tales of dread and doom, of past wrongs and future calamities. These whispers were not random, they seemed to know him, his fears, his secrets. They echoed in his mind, leaving him sleepless and terrified. John tried everything to rid himself of these nocturnal tormentors. He moved his bed, he covered his ears, he played loud music, but the whispers penetrated every defense, persisting in their relentless assault. They filled his world, making the familiar alien and the comfortable terrifying. He could not escape them, no matter how hard he tried. As the days turned into weeks, John's fear turned into paranoia. He began to see shadows where there were none, to hear whispers even in the bustling crowd. He felt watched, stalked, haunted. The line between reality and imagination blurred, and he found himself trapped in a waking nightmare. And then, just when John was on the brink of madness, the whispers stopped. One night he sat in his room, bracing himself for the onslaught of voices. But they never came. All he could hear was the deafening silence. The whispers had vanished as suddenly as they had appeared, leaving behind a void that was even more terrifying. Then one day the whispers stopped, replaced by a deafening silence. Silence can be golden, but can it also be deadly? In the eerie stillness of our tale, our protagonist finds themselves trapped. The once comforting quiet has transformed into a deafening silence that echoes through the hollows of their mind. The absence of sound, which once signified peace, now serves as a chilling reminder of their isolation. Imagine a world where the tick-tocking of a clock, the distant hum of a refrigerator, or even your own heartbeat is as elusive as a mirage. That is the world our protagonist now inhabits, a world dominated by an all-consuming silence that amplifies their dread, making the mundane monstrous. Fear, like a parasite, begins to feed on the protagonist's sanity. They desperately yearn for the whispers to return. The whispers they once deemed menacing now appear comforting compared to the unbearable silence. It's a paradox, isn't it? How one's dread can shift so dramatically, how the known can suddenly become more desirable than the unknown. In a frantic attempt to escape this silent prison, the protagonist begins to conjure up sounds. The soft whispers they once feared become a lifeline, a beacon in their soundless world. They plead with the shadows, bargain with the darkness, anything to bring back the whispers. They're not going mad, they reassure themselves. They just need to hear something, anything. Each passing second stretches into an eternity. The silence grows louder, the fear more palpable. The protagonist's sanity teeters on the brink, threatening to plunge into the abyss of madness. They're caught in a dangerous game, a battle against the silence and their own unraveling sanity. But silence, like all things, has a breaking point. Just when the protagonist is on the brink of surrender, when they're about to succumb to the madness, the silence begins to falter. The deafening silence is about to be shattered, disrupting the terrifying tranquility. But be careful what you wish for, because the silence was about to be shattered. What happens when your worst fears return with a vengeance? Imagine a world where the darkness you once knew is no longer a mere absence of light, but a tangible entity, an unseen tormentor, that lurks in the shadows, whispering your name. It's back, and this time, it's more terrifying, more threatening. The whispers are no longer just whispers. They've turned into guttural growls that echo in the night, chilling your bones. The shadows aren't just voids anymore. They're teeming with unseen horrors waiting to pounce. Our protagonist, trapped in this horrifying reality, is desperate to escape. Every flicker of light brings hope, only to be quashed by the ever-encroaching darkness. The whispers grow louder, the shadows darker, and fear, like a rampant beast, engulfs every ounce of courage. This is not just a return, it's a resurgence, a powerful revival of what once was. This terrifying manifestation is no longer content to lurk. It wants to dominate, to rule, to instill a fear so profound that it can't be shaken off. The struggle is real, the terror palpable. Our protagonist must fight back, must find a way to quell the darkness, silence the whispers. Every second is a battle, every breath a silent prayer for salvation. Yet the more they struggle, the stronger the darkness grows, the louder the whispers echo. It's a dance with fear, a terrifying waltz that seems to have no end. And then, in the middle of the night, everything went quiet once again. But was it truly the end, or just the beginning of a never-ending nightmare? As we draw the curtain on our tale, one can't help but wonder if our protagonist has truly escaped the clutches of the unseen shadow. The whispers have ceased, the silence is deafening, but is it really over? Or is the darkness merely biding its time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again? The shadows may be silent now, but who knows what horrors they might whisper next.